So yeah, so let me leave everybody with whoop, I'm not going to slide it. Leave everybody with some additional resources. So when we're taking a look at the SKU list for the CX 10,000 here, of course, like our other CX switches, it's going to be bundled with fan trays and power supplies. So the top two lines, P13 and P14A, are going to be the primary switch SKUs that will be used for ordering the switch. But of course, you know, customers can always purchase the individual fan trays or power supplies individually for things like, you know, on-site spares and things like that. Take note that the policy, the Pensando Services Manager, so PSM, is actually going to be bundled with the Aruba CX 10,000 switch, and that'll be available on ASP for our customers to actually download. Not surprisingly, of course, we offer a rich set of services for the CX 10,000. So we offer all of the next business day 4-hour exchange, as well as various levels of on-site security and even 6 hours call to repair type services. And of course, we also have the HTS professional services to get the CX 10,000 up and started with the quick start service. Kind of, you know, taking on, you know, continuing that point, we should try to leverage Point Next whenever possible. Point Next can really help our customers with advising, assessing, designing, and integrating these solutions. So with regards to advice, they can help them assist them actually build out a roadmap, which will help them actually potentially realize the full value of this Pensando solution. Of course, they can help them with designing a migration path with regards to the various security rules that they have in their environment and migrate those to the Pensando Services Manager solution. They can help with the integration of this solution in their environments. And of course, they can help optimize this type of solution within their environments. With regards to support calls for these types of solutions, so Aruba Global Services and Pensando have both entered into a worldwide support agreement for the CX 10,000 switch. And this worldwide plan covers both the hardware and the software. Aruba Global Services will be providing level 1, level 2, and level 3, as well as engineering level 4 support for non-Pensando features, while the Pensando group will provide level 3 and engineering level 4 support for Pensando specific features. Aruba Global Services will manage a stock of spares to be used for like return materials processes. And Aruba will actually control the release of posting these CX images onto our Aruba support portal. Taking a look at like an example customer call, so an Aruba Welcome Center agent will first verify that that customer has a current contract with the 10,000 switch. If the customer does not have a contract, the Welcome Center agent will inform the customer of that, and they may elect to actually accept the call and still initiate the service delivery process as a courtesy for customers that haven't yet registered for support. And then, of course, TAC is responsible for communicating with the customer and setting those customers' expectations and, of course, managing that customer account. So TAC is going to work with that customer. They're going to identify and document the problem within our Aruba call handling system. TAC will establish the security level of the call based on the degree of the impact to the customer's business. And then, of course, TAC will develop and document a problem statement. If the problem is determined to be with the Pensando portion of it, Aruba TAC may take one or more of the following steps. So, of course, they're gonna search our Aruba knowledge base, looking for a repository to see if this at first is a known problem, maybe with a defined solution or a workaround. They may work to actually replicate that problem to the best of their ability so that they can try to fault isolate and perform further testing on that. They will look to isolate the cause of the problem to the product level and identify the actions causing the problem to the best of their ability using diagnostic information and tools, et cetera, provided for the product. And then, of course, they'll develop a solution or a workaround for supported features based on our knowledge of the product. And if the customer's problem can't be resolved, then Aruba TAC will work with the customer. If the problem can be resolved, of course, Aruba TAC will communicate that to the customer, and then they'll close the call. But if it's determined that there's further time required and it's potentially not likely to be contributing to solving the customer's problem, then Aruba TAC will elevate the case directly to the Pensando team. The Pensando team will work the problem through to closure, communicating that status and that resolution information through the case to that Aruba TAC representative. And in all circumstances, Aruba TAC is going to still be the owner of this problem with regards to communicating to the customer and reporting the final solution. Once that problem has been resolved, the Pensando support agent will provide that resolution to Aruba TAC, which will be delivered to the customer. And if it's determined by Pensando that the source of the customer's problem is not really the Pensando product, then Pensando, of course, will advise Aruba TAC, and Aruba TAC will provide a problem description to further evaluate that problem. And then, of course, finally, when a solution has been provided, the problem case, of course, is going to be, it's going to remain open until that solution has actually been delivered to the customer. And, finally, if the customer agrees to close the call will be closed. I kind of wanted to also leave you with a TCO comparison. This is an example data center where we've got essentially 1,000 servers, 32 racks. And what would this solution look like when compared to centralized appliances or distributed agents with regards to the cost and expenditures needed for all of those? And using the distributed services switch based on this example here, we can see that we can actually offer about 1/3 of the TCO than the other basic types of centralized or distributed agent solutions out there. And finally, I'll leave you with some qualifying questions for those people that are engaging customers on this type of solution. We want to find out, is this a data center modernization, or is it a cloud initiative? Is it an IT refresh, or are they where they're looking for higher performing compute and storage? Of course, the CX 25 gig and 100 gig interfaces can be leveraged for that. Is this a HPE compute solution leveraging SimpliVity or VMware or Nutanix HCI? These are going to be largely benefit from software-defined automation with AFC. Maybe the customer is struggling to manage the various scale in a heavily segmented multi-DC environment. Again, AFC can be very useful for that type of solution, along with the end solution that AFC provides with regards to VXLAN and EVPN. Maybe this customer truly is looking for that east-west firewall and micro-segmentation in the data center. They want to extend their zero trust enterprise across their data center racks, and this is perfect for the distributed services switch. Again, maybe this customer's got a lot of firewall appliance sprawls, cost them a lot of money. It's very complex to manage. Again, at the top of rack switch with our distributed services switch, we can take away a lot of that complexity. Keep in mind that, HPE and Aruba really do deploy that full stack solution, which delivers more value as well as a competitive differentiation for our customers.
Yep, that's good. Right. So I just wanted to talk about the flow table and some nice nomenclature that you can get from the detail from the flow. So I mentioned about the return flow being automatically denied, as well as the egress flow. Also, there is some nice indicators. So from the source and origin of flow. So we've got, let's have a look. I is the initiator, and that's the host. From the host, that's the direction. And then the other side, we've got the responder, and that's coming from an uplink on here. So you can see that. So that's what I wanted to call out. You'll get these slides, by the way, as part of the TOI. And just a quick policy Troubleshooting behavior, the key one is, first of all, check the basics. It's all about checking the basics. Check the PSM and DSE switch integration, connectivity, and that looks correct from AFC to the PSM and from the switch to the PSM as well. And most issues are going to be related to misconfiguration. So check the appropriate VLAN is redirected to the DSM modules, and verify the policies on that's been applied and the direction, ports VLAN, and the policy sequence, bearing in mind what Toby was mentioned about the implicit deny and the implicit permits, to make sure you haven't got a permit all somewhere in the firewall policy. And what I showed in the demo, if the flow is already present in the flow table, then that session may need to be restarted to kick in the flow, firewall policy. And the last one is the flow hitting the flow tables. If it's not, and everything else looks good, then maybe with the host connectivity model down into the switch. And some just caveats and configuration notes. We covered this first one, policy change from deny to permit will require new flow to be seen if flow already exists. I mentioned that. Flow table uses source destination UDP TC ports to match against the destination rule to permit or deny a flow. And the return flow is automatically denied or permitted depending on the policy, whether it's coming on from an ingress policy or an egress policy. And note this one for first out of the box for 6.2 AFC for the qualifying rules. There should only be a single qualifier per rule. It's very important. This is the constraint of the system today, and the qualifier in the rule should only have a single entry. So that means you can't mix a number of ports in the same qualifier, not today. And that will come, I've no doubt about that, but today out of the box, 6.2, they're the rules. So if you should remove the VLAN from the network portion of the AFC that I mentioned when we did the redirect of the VLAN 10, that just be aware that if you do that, you're decoupling that VLAN and all the traffic from the DSM. So effectively, all traffic will drop. The flow table will be cleared straight away. So do just take note of that. If you're doing it deliberately, all well and good, but if you're doing it inadvertently, that will happen. And note the timeouts, UDP and ICMP, 90 seconds, TCP flows, 3,600 seconds an hour. And the last one, which is the call out from Toby, I just put that at the very end there. And that was it. Thank you.